Kevin should be back in a couple of days. Probably gonna go out and try to beat up this thing and see if he can break the steering rack. I doubt it. I doubt he can. Kevin, that's a bet. No, that's not a bet. Kevin, no, because then I gotta do it again. Don't break it, Kevin. Don't try to break it. What's up, Brite Nation? As you can see, we have the Bronco in the shop today because she's gonna get some upgrades. I have another box on the front porch, but we'll get that one later. But right now, ooh, 74 welds, new billet steering rack for the Bronco and the Bronco Raptor. This is pretty sweet. So you get to swap the guts over from that to that. And what are the benefits?
How's it going, guys? Quinn with 74 Weld, here to do a billet steering rack swap. So we'll take guts out of this. This is a Raptor, known as the Haas 3.0. They automatically come in the new Wild Tracks as well as all of the Raptors. And we'll just be taking the guts out of this and putting it into our redesigned housing. The main difference really is just how we stabilize the rack bar. We changed a bunch of internals, obviously made it out of solid chunks of aluminum. Have had good luck with this, knock on wood, pretty much being an indestructible part. Anything can be broken, but...
What are the typical fail points on the stock one?
So typically you'll see this piece right here will end up blowing out. What you'll end up having is this piece right here, there's a load bolt, essentially. It's a plain bearing. You'll have a load bolt here, and this part, when you shock load it, will end up breaking out of the rack. The other thing that we commonly see is on this side, this part will fracture and it'll typically run into the main housing and the motor breaks off.
So obviously just from like side load shock on the shaft, right?
Yeah, typically it's like rock crawling. You get into a section, your tire drops, it turns, you try to drive forward, it wedges the steering, and that shock load just transfers through the rack and breaks the factory rack apart. So the main difference you'll see, and we run this on both sides, it's just easier to show, an oil impregnated bronze bushing that is essentially designed as a bearing for this type of application. It just carries the load. You've got a big chunk of aluminum to support it, and we've had good luck.
And it looks real fancy.
And it does look fancy, although you can't really see it, but whatever.
Can't see the cams that you put in motors either, but you know they're real fancy.
It looks good on the bench, how about that? And it functions. That's the real reason why we're doing it.
All right, so we're just gonna gut that one and put it all in this one.
Yep.
So this is why you don't, I don't recommend doing this at home. There's quite a bit involved in this, that's being one of them.
Yeah, so then we push on, there we go. Okay, so these have to stay together, and we're going to mark a line on those wheels so that they go together the same way. And that's that.
Whoa, there's a belt in there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the steering is not a bad design, and the motor, I think it's totally powerful enough. So there's another odd thing. If you look at our machine part, this here is at an angle in relation to the motor. And I'm thinking it's to keep the belt on.
So what you're telling me is this center and this center are not linear?
Correct. It's kicked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neato.
And we were able to figure all that out. So I have an aerospace machine shop. So we put all this stuff up on like super precision measuring equipment and just measure all the surfaces.
I can almost see it. You can almost, it goes this way.
It's less than 1 degree.
Yeah.
It's wild, but it is a little bit of an angle. I'm guessing it's to keep belt tension. I don't know.
What flavor?
Yes.
Probably one of those guys.
Dude.
Nailed it. Yeah, you're definitely not doing this at home.
No, And I mean, so I don't mind showing this stuff. And even when I do this to dealers, I'm gonna go up and do one with him and go, hey guys, here's the step-by-step. Now all of this is literally any mechanic. It's super easy.
This part.
It's this part where like, take it out carefully, mark it. It's kind of a two-person.
Slide that off.
And we'll unbolt the motor. We already pulled them, and so we'll get to use snap ring pliers. This snap ring has a bevel to it, so it has to go in one way. And there she is. Actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. Interesting, it's a angular contact bearing on a linear bearing. Works though. One way to do it. The other side, we just put a big socket in or something. And then we've got 2 bearings in here that will pull. One of them super easy. The other one requires a puller, and I brought the puller. Steel toes?
Always.
There it goes. All right. We might be able to.
Yeah, do it this way.
I never did figure out, like, why would the rack company that made this,
Oh, yeah, there's no touch. It's just
like, it doesn't touch. I don't know. And it's not sealed.
It's just a.
Just a plastic guide, maybe. So when the rack breaks, then the plastic engages. I don't know. Put your hand over there. I'm gonna give you a bearing. So the easiest way to do this is actually not with a slide hammer.
Got it.
There's a needle bearing that is now right on this. That is what we were going for. This ball bearing sits in and this cap actually tensions and holds the ball bearing in place. Or a crescent.
I see it.
There we are. Bevel goes up, I believe. Here comes the scary part. There
it goes.
That looks seated to me.
Looks seated to me.
Cool.
Nice.
So we need to rotate our rack bar. Let's just push it through and we'll rotate it with a crescent wrench or something. Okay, that's about us. And so this will drop in and rotate as we go, but we'll need to get our wheels lined up. Okay, so right now, so we get electronics kind of in place and we'll line up our wheels again.
Yeah.
Looks like us. The tricky part is we wanted our detent at 3 o'clock, right? And we are right at 3 o'clock. And we're right there.
Money.
It's either perfect or it's way off. You're a full tooth off. That's the hardest part. Now it's just some assembly. The problem is we've had to learn about this by like kind of trial and error. I mean, I think we've put in racks and pulled racks a dozen times just doing R&D on stuff. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, we can't do that. Yeah, the smaller one's for the motor and then the large one is for the case half that the cap bolts to. This one likes to pop out, but I think she'll be all right. All right, so we'll move to the motor side now. Motor can only go one way. I'll get it wrong twice until we get it right. It's gotta be this way then.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. I love the height of these tables. They're just low enough to make sure that your back is gonna be sore at the end of the day.
We use red Loctite because those are like the high pressure ones. Like,
Oh, yeah,
hydraulic
I could see that. I've set enough of them that it's pretty much wedge a screwdriver in there and tighten it. And when the screwdriver's tight, that's proper tension. We might give them a light ugga-dugga too. Okay. And it doesn't. Okay. We happen to have a pry driver.
this is how you sent timing belt tensions too.
All right. Oh yeah, that'll work.
I thought you saw that. Oh, listen to that. That went right on there.
We'll torque all this stuff too. All right. We got to make sure we do this right now because what can happen is if you ever loosened this and then turn the steering wheel, the pinion can drop and then everything will bind and you'll be like, I don't understand. You can break teeth because there's nothing retaining.
So that pushes.
So it bottoms out, but then this keeps tension on everything.
It just needs to hold it up there.
It just needs to hold it up there.
Oh, so it's technically pushing the pinion back up right now on that bearing.
Well, it just is holding the bearing in place now.
Oh, I got it. So that's pushing up against the bearing.
So the
surface.
bearing now is fully captured.
That's capturing the bearing, not the pinion.
Right, because even if you allow, like if you put a snap ring in there, you've got to have allowable tolerance on that. And then like that can create, every little bit of play makes things feel worse on the road. So we just tension it like that and we're done. Torque a few things, put bushings in,
Sweet.
Throw her back in and drive her around.
I kind of remember how it came out. So.
Yeah, which is totally different than a regular Bronco.
Well, it's a good thing I only know the Raptors then.
Because the regular Bronco, it did not do that rotating down.
Yeah, it's a little
around.
bit easier, I would imagine, because the motor's a little bit smaller.
Probably 300 foot-pounds on that, I would guess.
Yeah.
Basically crank it until it goes loose, and then give it another quarter turn, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's about tight enough.
So bushings, this side is square, and square, and the other side's round.
Yeah, because this is the threaded side, so the bolt has to go through. If you put this on upside down, rack will fall off.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would suck.
Well, it would probably be pretty obvious. You want a little grease on those?
They're kind of greasy already.
Oh, all right. And they don't ever really want to like fully 100% seat, but it doesn't matter because once you cinch everything down,
yeah, once you crank it, it's gonna suck it in anyway.
Yeah. All right, and round.
There she goes.
Now comes the fun part, right?
Putting it back in.
I want to go right in. 1 game win streak.
Oh,
So
light died. Boo.
Oh. So you went like this?
Yeah. And then I went like this, right there.
Ah, that's right.
Here, let me get up here.
2,000 years later.
Now I'm just gonna drive up.
Oil pan.
Oh, I'm on another harness.
Many months later.
Right there it is.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, come on, baby.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
There it is.
Yay.
Oh my God. That took us like
What did we struggle on it for, like 30 minutes trying to
at least.
take the thing out?
At least.
You should be good with that.
Got it. Oh, because
Shoulders over my head.
All right. Now we just put it back together.
What a piece of cake, dude. It was like 12 minutes, start to finish.
I've made that joke many times.
6 hours later.
It was like as we're recording, I'll be like, yeah, we'll be done in like 2 minutes. Bloop, and then we're done.
We'll just snug this because we need to get the diff back in place.
That's what this bolt is for.
Yeah. Oh. That's your oil.
Filter dripper guy.
Is that the technical term for it?
Yes. That's how you look it up. Oil dripper guy.
Okay. Remember, cross tight's better than Loctite once.
And that one goes on there.
So Tanner from Rockslide did one of these in a Raptor,
Yeah.
and the dealer told him there's no possible way they could ever do it. That's one of those
Tanner's like, yeah.
hold my beer moments.
Yeah, that's totally something Tanner would do. And then because we didn't change any of the bar or anything, there's no alignment needed. Oh crap! I still haven't started. It's almost there. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh yeah, I'm in. Now the fun part is putting the boot over that thing.
As you pull the whole thing off the rack.
All right, so she's back on the ground, and let's find out. No codes, no codes. Oh, yeah, strap up the steering wheel so that you don't lose your clock spring. Door's ajar. No, it's not. Vehicle is on, if you didn't know. My door's ajar. And? Hey! Hey! Yeah! Look at that, no check engine light. Put it back to straight. Oh, and the wheels are straight, look at that. Look how beautiful that steering rack is in there. So this is the billet rack from 74 Weld. So if you're interested, make sure you look them up. It's an amazing product. I don't know if you're savvy on the internet, but a lot of people have broken the racks in these Broncos. So this is definitely one of the upgrades you should definitely look to do first before you do anything. They also have portals for the Bronco. Pretty ballin'. Not the Raptor though, because then it would make you like 7 inches wider than it already is, and that's just like way too big. But if you got a Bronco, they also have portals for the Bronco. Steering racks, they have all kinds of cool stuff. Make sure you check them out. 74 Weld. All right, so now that the rack is installed, there's really no performance gains to this. There is, although, like peace of mind. You know you're not gonna break the steering rack because you can't. He hasn't had one come back yet. Although you're right, we leave that up to Kevin because Kevin has a tendency of breaking things that we shouldn't break, but that means we just gotta make them stronger. With that being said, Kevin should be back in a couple of days, and then he's probably gonna go out and try to beat up this thing and see if he can break the steering rack, but I doubt it. I doubt he can. Kevin, that's a bet. No, that's not a bet. Kevin, don't, no, because then I gotta do it again. Don't break it, Kevin. Don't try to break it. But anyway, Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. Remember, you can get all your Lite Brite merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. Thanks again. We'll see you later. Bye. And see it breaking things that we shouldn't break, but that means we just got to make them stronger. So like my new microphone. This is a pretty good microphone right here.